Oh man, can you believe it? DeAndre Jordan committed treason. He's the worst person in the world. He backed off of his word. That's the problem with these Generation X, Ys, and Zs and these millennials. They don't like authority. They ain't, see, I'm from the old school. Where if you give a man your word, you're supposed to you're supposed to honor that, right? Okay, so DeAndre Jordan, at the last minute, decides he's going to go to the Clippers. I kind of feel bad for Mark Cuban, right? Because it's nothing worse than when a person gives you their word and they tell you, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And at the last minute, they pull out and switch it up. But you know, it happens every single day in business or just in general. It just happens. My take on the situation is that karma is a motherfucker. It's a bitch. All right, I hate to say that, but karma is a bitch. When the type of shit that you put out, the type of energy that you put out, that's what you get back. If I put out thug life, I'm gonna be a gangster, and all of this stuff, I'm gonna attract that type of crowd. I'm gonna attract that type of energy. All right, so that's why you see a lot of rappers. They never had records. I mean, jail records until they made music records. Until they actually get out there and get some notoriety or some kind of fame, that's when they start getting in trouble because they start attracting that type of attention. So they have to, that type of energy, it reciprocates, right? So I say that because I alluded to this in my videos, previously in my videos, about how the CP3 trade didn't go through. Now I remember the day like it was yesterday. This was supposed to be like one of the biggest days in Los Angeles because the Angels had signed Albert Pujols, and the Lakers had did the trade with for CP3. We gave up Pau Gasol, we gave up Lamar Odom to the New Orleans Hornets, and for the rights to CP3. All right. Now at the time, CP3 was ready. He was ready to go to the Lakers. Lakers was waiting for him. Like, yes, we finally got a big player, big agent. So the deal, whatever, doesn't fall through because at that time the NBA was the owner. It was supposed to go through. It was set in place. CP3 was talking about, he was on a plane. He was talking on a cell phone with Kobe. He was excited. He was jumping around. Okay. And the deal just didn't fall through at the last second. And who was one of the people that were out there speaking out against the Lakers and talking bad about the Lakers? Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was one of the people out there sending the emails to the commissioner talking about, oh no, I don't want to. I wish to see the Lakers fail. I want to see the Lakers fail. I want to see them do miserable. Now I understand that because you're a businessman, right? Because this is business, and you want your business to be the top business. And in this kind of field, it's very competitive, right? That's why it's all billionaires who own these teams. They got to a point of being billionaires because they're highly competitive. All right. So people were like, wow, man, that's jacked up. Dan Gilbert, he wrote the email talking about we might as well be the Washington Generals. See, when you don't want to see people succeed, that type of energy, when you do that, it can come back on you. It can bite you back in the ass. So long story short, the Lakers got cheated because the team was owned by the other 28 teams, and they had a say so, and it was perfectly legal. Lakers couldn't sue or nothing. It was legal. So Mark Cuban finds himself in a similar situation where DeAndre Jordan, he has an option. Legally, he did nothing wrong. But ethically and morally, they're like, you know, as a man, it's like this esoteric, secret, kind of underlying understanding about when you give a man a word, that's just the way it's supposed to be. You know, if you happen to be a religious person, a person that goes to church, or a person that follows a religion that's very high on ethics and integrity, they're really big on, like, if you give your word to something, you're supposed to stand behind it. But DeAndre Jordan, at the last minute, wasn't illegal. You know, he decided to go with the Clippers, and I agree with why he went with the Clippers. I think he made the right decision, because I think he was in an emotional state where he may have had some issues with CP3, and CP3 and him maybe has a couple gripes or whatever. So he got emotional and was thinking the grass was greener by going to the Mavericks. But as he deliberated and he thought about it more, he realized, you know what? Maybe the grass isn't greener in Texas. Maybe it's not better that I go ahead and jump to the Mavericks. Maybe it's not. Maybe I should stay in LA, and home is where it's at. Because if you're going by strictly a business decision, the Clippers is the most pragmatic decision you can make if you're DeAndre Jordan. So that he did. And the Clippers wooed him. They had DeAndre. They had CP3 coming back from this Atlantis boat where he was kicking it with LeBron James, D Wade, and Carmelo Anthony. And they were doing Instagram. You know, CP3 had to fly back, and they were pitching him, hey, DeAndre, you know, we're going to run an offense around you. We're going to do this. You're going to be the center focal point of you're going to get more touches. CP3, you know, was telling him everything he wanted to hear. And they're building DeAndre up. You got Paul Pierce over there. You got all of these guys that have influence coming to his house in Houston and wooing him. And they stayed there until 12 o'clock whatever Eastern time, and they blocked the door. They had literally put up a chair blocking the door. So, and Mark Cuban had said that DeAndre Jordan did not answer his phone calls, did not send him a text or nothing, and would not, you know, answer his door or anything. And, you know, Mark Cuban is a busy man. He took a lot of time out of his day or whatever to personally go fly out there. And DeAndre Jordan didn't call him back or didn't respond or whatever the case may be. This is reported. And I think that was wrong. I think he could have at least picked up the phone and said, hey, you know what, Mark Cuban, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I agreed to come to the Mavericks, but I renege on that because I really gave it some deep thought, and I was emotional. I made an emotional decision rather than a rational decision. So now that I came to a rational conclusion, I'm going to go to the Clippers. But, you know, maybe he was in fear that maybe Mark Cuban was going to seduce him to come back. And plus, he had all of these guys around him. How many times have you been in peer pressure where your friends got you to do something? You maybe been at a club, or you guys may have been drinking, or whatever the case may be, and you got peer pressure to not to do something or to do something. You might be hanging with your buddies, and the girlfriend that you with at the time calls you, and your buddies are like, nah, don't answer that phone, and they kind of peer pressure you into not answering that phone. I can see that happening, where the Clippers are like, man, you don't owe this guy nothing. You're not breaking no laws, right? You don't owe Mark Cuban nothing. You don't got to answer that call. So he starts to believe it. He starts to think about it. And the more he thinks about it, he's probably like, you know, I don't have to do that. So I think he made the right decision. I just think he probably could have handled it differently. It's nothing wrong with the decision he made, but the way he could have done it he could have done it a little bit better, because he had the Mavs. The Mavs fans were all in a frenzy. A part of that is media. A lot of that is media reports being leaked out and all of that stuff. You know, that's because of the Adrian Wojnarowski's, that's because of all of these media reports, right? And it's just that a lot of times we condemn people, and you could go on the line and you can see the stuff that they got out there. They got, when your word is as good as your free throw percentage, like disrespecting DeAndre Jordan, saying that he's untrustworthy, he's deceitful, or he's duplicitous, or he has some duplicity about him, and he's not being real. And I think we all do this at some point in our life. Now, you may say, no, I never done it, right? This is a big decision. But Eddie, we talking about big contracts. We're talking about a monumental decision, right? It's easy to say that, but you got to remember, DeAndre Jordan was a second-round draft pick. He wasn't supposed to be where he's at right now. He ascended to this level where he's at right now. He's ascended to one of the top 5, at least a top 5 center in the NBA, right? He's well sought after. If the Clippers don't get him, that changes the whole paradigm. The whole paradigm shifts for the Clippers. If he doesn't go to the Mavs, the whole paradigm shifts for the Mavericks. So we're talking about a franchise, a difference maker. He's good with the Mavericks, but he's great with the Clippers, because the Clippers, he's already had proven success. So it's different when you ascend to a certain level and you have this camaraderie with the people, and you kind of grow to a level where you kind of expect, when you go to another team, you kind of expect them to reach out to you. Or it's like when you break up with a girlfriend that you've been with after 5 years. You say you don't, but you kind of expect her to call you or reach out to you and say, baby, don't go, stay. Because you guys been through something for like 4 or 5 years, right? So you kind of have these feelings that was wrapped up. If you build a house, you kind of, you have this emotional connection because you built the house. So it's kind of like his feelings towards the Clippers, like he built this relationship with the Clippers, and I guess he felt enamored when they finally came through and they says, hey, we care about you, and they played a video and he cried, and he had all these people, and they probably had a couple drinks of wine. And when you have that type of influence and a peer group around you, that may affect the way you act as well. But I say we all have pulled stuff like this. Like, for instance, you maybe have been in a relationship as a man, and you probably lied to a woman. You probably led her on to believe that it was going to be something more than it was. And at the last second, you said, you know what? As soon as you got some cookie, you left. You shook. You never called her again. Or if you did call her again, you lied to her again and got some again and left, right? And women tend to do that. Women lie and say stuff, lead a guy on and say, yeah, I'm kind of going through. They talk about the ex. You meet a woman and she talking about her ex, and you're like, stop talking about your ex. What's up with me and you? And you start talking to her. Things seem to go well. She's leading you on. And a woman gets a call from her ex and drops everything that she's doing. And the ex may do the same thing that the Clippers did. She was going towards the guy that she was leading on, but now her ex called, and she drops everything. And she listens to what the ex has to say, because she's emotionally built these emotions with this person. She kind of grew as a person with this person. So the ex tells her everything she wants to hear, because he knows that she's about to leave. Baby, don't leave. Remember when I fought these guys at the mall for you? Remember when some guy whistled at you and I had your bag? Remember the times when you was broke and I had $2 in my pocket and I bought you a Whopper? Remember the time, all of this stuff to make a woman feel like, oh, he really care about me. He really loved me. And he blocking the door. He like, you don't answer your phone. Don't, I love you, girl. You better not leave me. And the girl start crying and she feel emotionally connected. She get back with the guy, right? Whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, we tend to do things, we tend to make decisions at the last second where we switch it up. So I had to make this video because it was just bothering me. I was seeing the media fiasco about DeAndre Jordan is this and that. Yeah, I agree he could have handled it differently, but he made the right decision. And the way he went about it, yeah, he could have went about it a little bit different, but karma is a bitch. Sorry, Mark Cuban. I really like you, respect you as a man, but I think a lot of Laker fans, me included, are bitter over that CP3 thing. I really think CP3 would have made a difference with the Lakers. Just took some time out of my day to make a quick video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Eddie Starr. Peace.